All right, sports fans, it's Tuesday afternoon and coming to you here from my office to talk a little bit of sports. A lot going on here on the GT Sports Keep It 100, the podcast where we talk professional college sports. And, I keep it real, right? I'm going to tell you what I feel. Certain teams I like, certain players I like, certain teams I do not like, certain players I do not care for much. And so it's just a podcast where I try to keep it as real as I can, give you my thoughts and my feelings, but also looking at stats and making predictions on who I think can win certain games. Right now we've got the NBA playoffs just started here, so I'm keeping a real close eye on that. Got some NFL news to talk about. My Dallas Cowboys. I think I got a good signing, and then of course we'll talk a little bit of the Major League Baseball. Start off with the Houston Astros, and then WNBA is fixing to start. The season's fixing to start on I believe Saturday. It's preseason, but still, I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm a big WNBA fan, especially with some of these college players that just got drafted in that we're going to see now in the WNBA. I was excited last year and the year prior. Now with these new girls coming in, we're going to be talking a lot about the WNBA. So if you like the WNBA, you definitely want to tune into this podcast because I'm going to be talking a lot about that, giving you my thoughts this season. So let's start off with the NBA. As I said, the playoffs are started. Two of my teams, because I'm from Texas, so two of my teams are in the playoffs. The San Antonio Spurs and then the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are a close second. The Spurs are my team that I follow and I like a lot. And then I'll talk about some other teams. So there was a couple of games that were played last night. I think it was 3 games that were played last night. The Cleveland Cavaliers were taking on the Toronto Raptors. I been real critical of the Cleveland Cavaliers because I think they have underachieved with the talent that they have, right? And then they make this trade for James Harden, right? And I didn't really like the trade because James Harden. I can kind of understand why the trade happened. If I'm Cleveland, I'm looking at the East with a lot of these injuries. I mean, Tatum's back, but Halliburton was out. Giannis is not in the playoffs. So you have an opportunity here to get to the NBA Finals, right? Because I don't think anybody from the East is going to beat whoever comes out of the West. But that's another story. But just to get out of the East into the NBA Finals, maybe they felt James Harden could get them there. I don't think they can, especially with Boston the way they're playing. I just don't think Cleveland is the best team to come out, right. But out of the East. But I don't think James Harden. I think he made them better. I don't know that he elevated them to the NBA Finals to be the best team in the East to come out of the East this year. So those were my thoughts. I'm not high. James Harden, I think, is one of the best offensive players in the history of the NBA. I mean, he's hard to guard. He's a big guy. So it's really hard to defend him, right? And I mean, he can get his own shot off. But he doesn't make the team better. I think he passes a little more now than when he was with Houston. But I've never been one that thought that he doesn't play defense. So I if it were me, I wouldn't have traded for him. But that's not me, right? They traded for him. Their first matchup was against Toronto. I didn't think Toronto was going to put up much of a fight. I predicted that Cleveland would win this. I don't know if they'll sweep the series, but I didn't see an avenue where Toronto could beat Cleveland if Cleveland played the way they're capable of playing. And right now they're playing really good. They're up 2-0 in this series. Now the series will switch over to Toronto. Toronto really needs to get game 3. But they win game 2 last night, 116-105. The Cavaliers both stud players for Cleveland played great. Donovan Mitchell was 13 of 23 for 30 points. James Harden 9 of 14 for 28 points, and Evan Mobley even got into the mix there with I think it was something like 11, 13. He had 25 points. So um, Cleveland looking good early on, but again, Toronto not much of a I think could put up a fight. Now, if they win both games in Toronto, it's a new series, right? It's now the best out of three. I think Brandon Ingram needs to play a lot better. Scotty Barnes has been good. They do have an injury to their guard, so they're not 100%. But they've got to play better, and I think they will play better. The role players should play better at home. So I think Toronto needs to get Game 3. That's a must. If they lose Game 3, the series is over, right? So they to even have a chance in this series, they need to win this Game 3. If they win Game 3, then Game 4 I think is anybody's match. But I still have Cleveland winning this series. I don't see Toronto offensively having enough to beat Cleveland. And Jared Allen has started the games off really strong. Mobley's playing better. Struss can come off the bench and really give him some minutes. I don't see a way. I think Toronto can win Game 3. I think they'll come out with a lot of energy. I think their fans are going to give them that energy. They want to win one. I think Cleveland will have a little bit of a letdown because they're up 2-0. But I don't see a scenario where Toronto beats Cleveland, right? I think Cleveland will advance to the second round. But again, if they are able to win Games 3 and 4 in Toronto, then it's a best out of 3. Then Game 5 is anybody's, right? Like they could win it, right? And then there's injury. So what I'm saying is, I think the advantage is still Cleveland. But if Toronto somehow wins 3 and 4, then Game 5, now anything can happen. Anybody can get hot. Somebody from the bench could just get hot, right? And now you're in the series. So if you're Cleveland, you need to win one of the two, right? Like you can't lose both, right? You've got to win, even though you've got home court. You've got to win these next two. One out of two. If they lose 2, oh man, it's going to be a dogfight. But again, I still have Cleveland winning at least 1 out of 2. If they win Game 3, and I think it'll be a tighter game, but if they win Game 3, this is Cleveland, then they'll get the sweep in Game 4. We'll see what happens, but I do think Toronto's going to come out with a lot of energy and win that game. So I give Game 3 to Toronto, and then Cleveland coming back and winning Game 4. So we'll see what happens, but right now Cleveland up 2-0 in the total control of that series, and hopefully they'll get in to the second round. The next game we had last night, the Atlanta Hawks defeated the New York Knicks 107-106. Series tied 1-1. Let's go with the stats first. C.J. McCollum, man, 12 of 22 for 32 points. Jonathan Kuminga off the bench, 7-12. I think he had 19 points. Jalen Brunson led the Knicks with 29 points. The New York Knicks, man. First of all, I'm not a fan of the Knicks. But to me, I've come out and been real critical of the Knicks because they should be better. In the regular season, I thought they should have been the top seed in the East, especially when Jason Tatum is out and Indiana has an injury to their best player. Giannis isn't in the playoffs. Like, how is it that New York isn't the best team in the East, record-wise, right? Why is it that they're not leading the East? You're third, fourth. Boston is second, and they're one of their best players was basically out the whole season. I just don't understand that from the New York Knicks, right? And a very talented group, but they don't always play that way, the way I see them. Now, you can disagree with me, and that's fine. But that's just my opinion on how I see them. This team should be the number one seed this year. I know you can lose any game in the playoffs. Atlanta, they've got some players, man, over there. And even though their record, I think they're better than what their record shows. Obviously, they made the midseason, the in-season trade with Trae Young. So this team I knew coming in, I don't think they're better than New York. I still don't think Atlanta will beat New York in the series. But you're down. New York, if you're up in this game, right? Like and you let this team come back. That's always been my issue with New York. They just don't play to the level that I think they're capable of playing, right? They come out low energy sometimes. I mean, I've come out and I've been on the record. Karl Anthony Towns is, I mean, when he gets inside, I don't think anybody can stop him. I mean, he is a force, right? He just doesn't always play that way. Like sometimes you see him play and you're just thinking like, wow, no one can stop this guy. Like no one can stop him. And yet you'll see another game where they'll come out and they just don't play to the level that they're capable of playing. This is why this team has not won a championship in quite some time or been in the NBA finals, because it's not that they're not able. When I've had this talk with the sports people that are around me off the record, and this team should be a lot better, and their record should be better. They should be 2-0 right now in this series, because even as good as players as Atlanta has, they're not better than New York. And now New York is in a dogfight, right? Because now you're 1-1. This team didn't play their best game, Atlanta. You had them beat, and you allowed them to get back into the game and beat you by a point. Now they go back home. They go with a lot of confidence. Right now, I think New York can play good on the road. I don't know if their role players will play good on the road, but Jalen Brunson is going to be Jalen Brunson. Now, Karl Anthony Towns, he needs to be a beast in Game 3. And they're going to need some help outside of Brunson and Towns to be able to beat Atlanta. Because if Atlanta takes Game 3 and they go up 2-1, New York's in a lot of trouble. Right now, it's 1-1. And so they're going 2 games to Atlanta, advantage Atlanta. But I got to see Game 3. I still think New York has a very good chance of winning Game 3. But if they lose Game 3, with Game 4 in Atlanta, and Atlanta has a 2-1 advantage going into Game 4, I think New York is in serious trouble, right? They have to win Game 3 because they should have had Game 2. But this is when I talk about the Knicks and I see them play, this has been my biggest critique of them is you'll see them play a tough team and they will play great. They beaten Boston. Boston didn't have Jaylen Brown, but they still beat them. We've seen them play really good ball. We've seen what they can do, but you never know from game to game what team you're going to get, right? Like, I think they underperform a lot. Like, I wouldn't put my trust in the New York Knicks, right? I wouldn't. If I was a betting man, I just wouldn't bet on them because you just never know. I don't think they play with the sense of the hunger. And this is how I'll say this. I don't think New York is hungry to win a championship. And that's probably incorrect, but that's the way I see them, right? They're just too talented of a team to be playing around with teams that they should just wipe off, right? Like Atlanta they should beat Atlanta in 5, 6, maybe even sweep them. I don't know. But they hang around because they let teams come back like they did last night, right? And so because they play this way, I don't think they'll get to the NBA Finals. I don't think they'll get out of the East this year. I don't know what happens if this team, even if they lose this series, I don't know where you go from there because you fired Tibbs, right? Thibodeau was fired. I thought he did great. I wasn't on board with the firing, but they do what they do, and then they fire him. They bring in Larry Brown, and I'm hearing all these guys around me telling me that he's more of an offensive guy. Tibbs isn't an offensive guy. They're going to be better offensively, and they do show signs of that, but they're not consistent. Right. So now you bring in Larry Brown. Let's say you lose this. So what happens now? Right. What happens to Larry Brown? Because I don't think he's coached any better than Tibbs did last year. I mean, right now you're in a dogfight 1-on-1. I mean, if they win game three, you know, they're probably going to be okay. But if you lose game three and you go down 2-1, now you're in a dogfight. You may not even get out of the series because every win that Atlanta gets just gives them more confidence. They've already played not their best game in New York, and they came out with the win. So if I'm Atlanta, I'm sitting there saying, listen, we really didn't play our best game here. They should have beaten us, and we found a way to claw ourselves back in this game and beat this team in their place. Now we're going into our house where our role players are going to play better. We're going to have more energy. Our fans are going to back us up. Man, like, this is what I'm talking about. Championship teams, you have to come out and win the games you're supposed to win. The New York Knicks, they do not win the games they should. At times they look like a championship team, and at other times they're on that court and you don't know who these guys are. So we're in a 1-1 here. And like I said, I am not a Knicks fan by any means. I still think New York is going to find a way to win this series because I just think Brunson and Towns and those guys, they're going to find a way to win one in Atlanta. They've got to win one, if not both, in Atlanta. But if Atlanta again wins game three, boy, this is going to be a lot closer than what I thought this series should have been. So we'll see what happens on Thursday in game three. But right now that series is tied 1-1. The other game that was played last night, the Minnesota Timberwolves defeated the Denver Nuggets 119-114. The series is tied 1-1, man. But this is really a good game. I thought, I was watching this game early on. Denver was playing good. Minnesota was not playing great. And I thought, man, you know, Denver's just going to win this game. I'm not even going to finish watching this game. I'm going to turn it into something else. I was watching another show because, you know, there's other things I pay attention to. But I thought, man, just, you know, I don't think Minnesota, they're going to go down 2-0. I turn it back, and then it's a game, right? And Minnesota ends up winning that game. And you know, player performance. Anthony Edwards, 10 of 25, 30 points, 10 rebounds. Julius Randle did what he needed to do, 24 points on 7 of 14 shooting. Jamal Murray for the Denver Nuggets, 11 of 25 for 30 points. He was 6 of 14 from 3-point range. So the Murray was awesome. The Joker had about 24, 25 points, something like that. He's got to be better than that, especially at home, right? If you're Denver, man, look, I'm not Minnesota. I mean, we know Anthony Edwards can go off. He didn't go off in this game, but I mean, we know he can go with 50 at any time, right? I think the concern here is, you know, Anthony Edwards starts to feel a little bit better. Watch out, right? I've never liked Denver offensively. One of the best offensive teams in the NBA. We know that. We know that they can shoot. I don't know that they're really good defensively, right? I don't know that they play great defense. Slow team. I mean, I know they got Aaron Gordon, but I don't know if they're one of the elite defenses, in my opinion, right? Not sure what the stats say, but just watching them play, I don't know that I'd consider them one of the best, right? Offensively, absolutely. They're up there with the best. But Minnesota should have lost this game like Atlanta should have lost this game. And yet they come back and they get, I think, a 4-point win, 4-point win. I still think Denver is the better team here. They're going to go now to Minnesota, where the role players play better at home. Anthony Edwards, if I'm Denver, I'm a little nervous. I really am, because now you're going into their place, right? They're going to feed off of that crowd. Some of these players that didn't play well in Denver are going to play better, are going to help Anthony Edwards, are going to help Julius Randle, right? And look, Gobert the other day had 17 points, man, which I was just talking the other day to some people about. You know, he's awful offensively. He doesn't give them anything. You know, he's a big man. He needs to give them 12, 15 points, and he ends up giving them 17. So anything that Gobert gives Minnesota, it's a plus for them. But Anthony Edwards is going to have some help with the next two games being at home. Denver's got to come out. Jokic's got to have that 40-point game, man. He's got to, right? I still think, like I said, Denver's going to win, but they're in a dogfight as well. Because if Minnesota now wins game 3, could Minnesota win both games? I don't know. But, you know, that these are great games, right? Because I really thought I thought this series could go 1-1. I did. I thought Denver would win both of them. I said that, but I'm not surprised that Minnesota took one. I think Denver can also take one of two, and that's all really Denver needs to do. They need to just get one out of two, which I think they're very capable of doing, and then they have home court back, right? But I'm not surprised at this because of Anthony Edwards, because I know he can go up at any time. He's been injured. It looks like the rust is starting to come off a little. He's starting to feel better. That's a dangerous sign for Denver. That's a good sign for Minnesota. But I think if Denver can just get one or two, and that's how I think you got to think about it, whether that's game 3 or game 4, then I think you're okay. If they lose both, then they're probably going to lose the series. There's a very good chance that they will. I did not see Atlanta taking one in New York. So this game also will resume on Thursday. But boy, it's a lot of fun, right? Because we're in the first round of the playoffs, and you're seeing Minnesota and Denver now 1-1. That game 3 now, people want to watch it right now. It's a series now. Atlanta, it's a series now. So it's really great. So we'll see where these guys go. For me, I still have Denver. I picked Denver to win. I'm going to stick with Denver. I still think they're the better team. They'll find a way to win. They always do. But we'll see. Minnesota's going to make it a challenge for them. They're going to make it tough for them. Atlanta, playing tough. I still have New York winning that, but we'll see how game 3 goes. And Toronto down 0-2. I think Cleveland's going to definitely win that one. So we'll see what happens. Going to be a lot of fun. We'll see how all this turns out. For tonight, Tuesday, April 21st, right, we've got 3 games. We got the Portland Trailblazers taking on my San Antonio Spurs. My prediction is that the San Antonio Spurs will win the series. Portland needs to win this game if they want to make it a series with San Antonio. To me, this is kind of Wembanyama. I said, who can stop him? Basically nobody, right? I don't think anybody. It's hard to defend him. If you're a big trying to defend this guy, he dribbles. He's 7'4". Let's say he's 4. That could be 7'5", but I'm gonna say 7'4". He dribbles like a guard. He's got quickness, and he's got he's got control. So if you're another big man guarding him, you're not as fast as him. And you don't have that skill. This guy possesses skills, Wembanyama does, that another big does not. So you don't know if he's gonna drive in. If he gets a step on you, it's over. I mean, it's over, right? He's right there on the knees. He's either gonna dunk or lay it up, and you don't know if he's gonna do a step back 3 because he's got a great outside shot. He can hit those 3-pointers. How do you guard this guy if you're big? I don't know that you can, right? That's on the offensive side. On the defensive side, and he changes the game when he's in there, right? Like I've seen where players, will dribble back out. They second guess themselves when ordinarily if someone else was in there outside of Wembanyama, they might go ahead and take that shot. But it's in their mind that he's around and where is he at. So he changes the shot. Even if you do shoot, you're always watching where he's at. So he changes the shot of the players. You see a lot of players dribbling out, wanting to take that outside shot 3. If you're not hitting that, that's advantage San Antonio. So Wembanyama right now is changing the game for the Spurs offensively and defensively, and he makes the game a lot easier for those Spurs. Now, I thought in game 1 they won because Vassell got hot, but defensively, Portland really, their other guys really didn't get going, right? Denny was really good. I mean, he's going to be unstoppable pretty much. But I thought Portland played San Antonio a lot tougher than I thought they were going to. And so that was a little concerning to me, right? Just because I'm thinking if Vassell doesn't get hot and we don't have that hot streak, this is probably a lot closer down the stretch than it needed to be. And look, if this is a close game at the end, we've got 4 or 5 minutes, and we're talking a tie game, or one team's up by 1 or 2, San Antonio up by 3. This is where it gets scary because Portland has the players to be able to put them over the top to win a game. So even though San Antonio won game 1, and I'm hoping, and I still predict they'll win, but Portland's for real, man. A lot of people weren't talking about the Portland Trailblazers. They've got some young guys like San Antonio and Oklahoma City. Now, we're talking a lot about OKC. We're talking a lot about San Antonio. No one's really talking about Portland. That's a pretty good team out there. They're dangerous, man. If you don't come out and play high energy, aggressive with them, hit your shots, turn the ball over, they've got the dudes to steal one in San Antonio. So tonight's going to be a good game. Must watch. I'm definitely going to watch that game. But I tell you right now, game 1 was a little concerning to me. Offensively, we were doing what we needed to do. When Wembanyama it gets going, he's great. But I felt like they were getting what they wanted to. And I don't think they played their best game. But they hung around until I think it was Vassell that got hot. So defensively, I wasn't too hot on the way we played. I thought we should have played better. So I'm hoping that our defense is going to play better. We're going to be able to shut them down. I don't want this to be a close game because I think in a close game, man, it can go Portland's way. I think San Antonio needs to go up 2-0 going back into Portland because when they get to Portland, they're going to play better. So if they win tonight and they go 1-1, I still have my Spurs winning, but boy, it's going to be a dogfight. Now I can see it go to 7. I can. But if the Spurs go up 2-0, then all they got to do is win one of the two. That puts a lot more pressure on Portland to have to win 2 out there. And if San Antonio can take at least 1 out of 2, then the series is theirs, right? Because I don't see Portland coming back. But tonight's a critical game. And that Portland Trailblazer team that no one talks about is pretty dang good. They're a lot better than what a lot of people think they are. And I think tonight they're going to come out. They're going to play a little bit more with a sense of energy because they know if they go down to 0, it's going to be tough for them. And look, nobody expected them to be here, right? Everyone's been talking about the Spurs and Wembanyama, so they're just coming in here saying, hey, look, we're going to play our ball, and if we get one, we'll open up everyone's eyes. And so I think San Antonio is going to have a tough game tonight. I really do. So I hope they come out with a lot of energy. But I hope we play better defensively. I want to see us play better defensively, and I hope we're hitting our shots because if not, it's going to be a dogfight. But I got San Antonio winning this game tonight, winning the series, going 2-0 when they go back to Portland. The Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Boston Celtics. Joel Embiid. Boston blew out Philadelphia. I think it'll be another one like that. With the way Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum playing, even with Maxey, Edgecombe, they don't have enough. For Philadelphia to make this a series, Joel Embiid, they need a healthy Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid changes the whole game. He's tough, man. He's one of the best players I've seen in basketball when he's healthy. Unfortunately for him, he's not healthy, right? There's always something going on. He has an injury, and that's kind of sad as an NBA fan because I want to see the best go at it, right? I want to see healthy teams go at it. I want to see Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves go against Houston with Kevin Durant. That's what makes this must see. No matter if I like the Rockets, right? I want to see the best go against the best. That's what makes it a series, especially when it's a series. That's what makes it a must-watch game. I don't like the injuries. And, the 76ers are just not the same without Joel Embiid. If he's healthy and he's playing a series, if Joel Embiid was healthy, just like healthy, and could play 7 games if it went to 7 games, can you imagine what this series would look like with the Boston Celtics? with Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown. Imagine it goes to game 7, and every game you're watching, you got Brown, you got Tatum, you got White. I mean, all of those guys from Boston going up against Edgecombe, Maxey, George, Embiid. My goodness, wouldn't people just want to sit there and watch this? Can you imagine? These games would probably go down to the wire. I mean, this would be exciting series in the first round to watch this. You usually get this in the Western Conference or Eastern Conference Finals. You would get this matchup in the first round. I guarantee you, Joel Embiid was healthy, this would be going to 7 games. But because he's not healthy and we don't know when he'll return, at least I haven't read today if he's going to be able to make it back, it takes a lot out. And I just don't think Philadelphia has enough to beat Boston the way Boston's been playing. So, I think tonight in Boston, I think Boston's going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be much of a matchup. And look, they're going to go 2-0. We'll see how things go in game 3. Philadelphia would then need to win game 3, and maybe Embiid can come back for game 4. I mean, I don't know how that works out, but if Philadelphia is going to win a game in this series, it's going to be in Philly. It's not going to be in Boston. I just don't see Boston dropping one the way Tatum is starting to play, the way Jaylen Brown has been playing. I mean, he's MVP candidate, right? Or he was in the mention of the MVP, and rightfully so. So at playing at home, I just don't see Philadelphia having enough to make this a game. And I think Boston wins tonight. They'll go 2-0, and then we'll see how things fare in Philly. If Embiid don't play, Philly will have the energy of the crowd. It may make it a little bit more interesting, but they can't win this series, in my opinion, unless Joel Embiid is healthy and playing. If not, Boston is going to win this series. But we'll see tonight how things play out. Game 2 tonight between Philadelphia and Boston. The next game, the Houston Rockets and the LA Lakers. I was really disappointed in game 1. First of all, when I heard that Kevin Durant wasn't going to play, I was like, what do you mean? He's been healthy all year. What happened? And I read that he had that knee or something. It started to swell. He bumped into someone, and I thought, oh my God, how does this happen right before the playoffs? So he sits out game 1. I'm thinking, okay, no Luka, no Austin Reeves, 41 LeBron James. Yeah, LeBron's been playing good, but he's 41, right? He's probably going to get you 15, maybe 20 points at best. I don't see him getting a 40-point game. Marcus Smart, Ayton. The Lakers they've got some players, but the 2 best offensive players are out. Houston can still, it might be closer, but Houston can still win this. Very disappointing in the Rockets. They played horrible. They never, I thought, watching that game, had a chance to win that game, in my opinion. No one became the leader. It felt like Durant's not here. Bunch of kids, like they didn't know what to do without Durant. It's the way I saw this. And the Lakers, I mean, Kennard, is that his name? Luke Kennard, I think is his name. He looked like an MVP out there. You're telling me you can't shut this guy down? I mean, he basically was doing whatever he wanted, man, and it was awful to see if you're a Rockets fan. I mean, come on, man, you got to play with some sense of energy here. I know Kevin Durant wasn't there, but you're still good enough to play and win that game 1 in L.A. You let a 41-year-old LeBron. And I know LeBron's great, but he's 41 years old, man. Come on. And your 2 best offensive guys, the Lakers' 2 best offensive guys are out injured, and they didn't miss a beat. And Houston looked horrible the way they played out there. It looked like they didn't even want to be there. And so I'm just going to erase game 1. Listen, game 2, I don't know if Kevin Durant is going to play. Houston should be able to beat L.A. without Kevin Durant when Luka and Austin Reeves are out, right? Like, they should not be able to dominate that way. You do what you need to do. You play yourself some defense. You get on. You pick up the energy. You do something, right? They were flat. So Listen, if Kevin Durant plays tonight, I don't know how 100%. I don't know where the percentage is. I don't know how much he can give to them because I really don't know. I mean, he is up there in age, and so the swelling of the knee, he may not be able to move like he usually does. I mean, I don't know what if he played, what Kevin Durant would look like. But to me, if he plays or if he doesn't play, Shingun, Thompson, Smith, Shepard, you guys need to come out. You need to have this mindset of our leaders out. We need to come out. We're okay. We're gonna bring it home. That's got to be the mentality, and then you got to go out and play. I was very disappointed in the way the Rockets played. Look, LA took advantage of everything, and kudos to them. Right, they were ready, focused. JJ Redick had his team ready, and they showed it, and they won. And their players were up for the challenge, right? And you got to give a lot of kudos to them because they were ready to play. Houston was not ready to play. It looked like they didn't even want to be there. So I'm hoping that tonight Houston's going to be, they're going to show something different, whether Kevin Durant plays or not. If you're Houston and you go down in this game, this series is over, man. Because, look, I don't know, if you're going to make this a series, it's probably going to go to a game 6 and 7. If the Rockets lose tonight and they have any plans of winning this series, they're going to have to win it in game 6, maybe even a game 7, which gives Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves plenty of time to be able to come back to help this team win. So you dug yourself a hole losing game 1, number one. So if you lose tonight, right, and you go down 0-2, this series is over, man. I don't know that Houston is going to be able to beat LA, and this is going to be a big old disappointment for Ime Udoka, the head coach, the Rocket organization, and their players, because you should not lose to the LA Lakers when their two best players really are out and may not even be in this series. So they've got to come out, play with a lot of energy, whether the Durant's playing there or not playing there, and they need to get this win so that when they go back to Houston, it's tied. 0-2 is not going to work, and if that happens, I think LA will win this series, really. And I don't know what happens to the Houston Rockets. You're going to have to really take a look at all of this stuff that you put out there, and see what happens, because there's no way the Rockets, in my opinion, should lose this series if Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are not playing for the LA Lakers. So we'll see what happens here. That's going to be a good game. So I'm going to be tuning in to the San Antonio Spurs. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll talk more. I'll recap these 3 games and then preview the games that are coming up on Wednesday. But I'm definitely going to watch San Antonio Spurs, and I'm going to be watching a little bit on the other device, the Boston, Philadelphia, and then obviously the Houston Rocket game is later tonight. So I'll definitely be up watching that game as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the Rockets and the Spurs, my 2 teams, will win tonight. San Antonio Spurs Victor Wembanyama wins Defensive Player of the Year 2026. No surprise there, man. This guy is, like people say, they've never seen anybody like Victor Wembanyama, right? Like this guy is awesome. Like I've watched the NBA for many, many years since I was a kid. I can honestly say I've never seen anybody like this guy, not just on the defensive side, but on the offensive side. As tall as he is, the way he moves, the way he shoots, he's got a high IQ for basketball, man. So it's just a lot of fun watching him if you love basketball, but obviously he plays for the San Antonio Spurs, my team, so definitely makes it that much sweeter. But unanimously, man, he won. So everybody, like, there was no question that this guy was the Defensive Player of the Year this year. Like I said, it's rightfully so. I think they got it right. Everybody, I think, would agree that with that statement. 3.1 blocks per game, the first in the NBA. Total blocks, 197, first in the NBA. Steals, about 1.0 per game. Rebounds, 11.5 per game. And defensive rebounds, he gets about, I think, 9, under 10 per game. So just a couple of stats there for Victor. But if you've ever watched him, like I watch him pretty much every time they play, right? Because I have the network where I can see them play home games and out-of-town games. And, man, this guy's amazing. And he only plays about 29 minutes or so. So he gets a lot of this done in sometimes under 30 minutes per game. So that's what's also to me amazing, right? Is that he doesn't play a full game. I don't know if that's because if they have a reason for doing that, or if that's something that he just it's a precaution. I'm not sure why they do it, but I mean, no matter what they do, he's still very productive in the minutes that he's played. So congratulations to Victor Wembanyama. I mean, there was no question that he was going to get the Defensive Player of the Year. He's also up. I think the three finalists was Nikola Jokic. I think it's Victor Wembanyama and SGA. So I think SGA might win it. But just the fact that Victor is also a finalist for the MVP also tells you where this kid is going at such a young age. And just what he means to just not the San Antonio Spurs, but what he's going to mean to the NBA. Because, I mean, I think when he goes into arenas, people are going to want to see him. Just like when Michael Jordan played, right? And everybody wanted to go see Mike. I know Michael, no matter where you went, I want to go see Michael Jordan. I think the hype is just like that for this kid, Victor Wembanyama. I mean, I know I want to go down there next year. I'm already making plans to be able to go a couple games. I want to see this kid, right, play. And I think any arena he goes to, people want to go see him because of his height, but just what he brings to the game defensively and offensively. If you're a basketball fan, an NBA fan, you want to pay a ticket to go see this guy play because I tell you, so far from what I've seen, he gives 100% on both sides of the court, right? He runs up and down the court defensively, offensively, doesn't take a play off when he's there, man. So you're getting your money's worth. So congratulations once again to Victor Wembanyama on winning the Defensive Player of the Year. Chicago Bulls head coach Billy Donovan steps down as the head coach for the Bulls. There was talk they had fired their executive directors or upper management. There was talk that they wanted Billy Donovan to come back. So they wanted him back. The ownership, the Chicago ownership, wanted Donovan to continue to coach. That's what the reports were saying. We want him back. And if the guy that we're going to bring in doesn't see the value that we see, maybe he's not the right guy. I mean, there was all kinds of reports, whether they're true or not, coming out. But whatever that case was, and all of the hype that was going about we want him back, the end result is he will not be returning to the Bulls. Now, was that his choice? Was that their choice? How all that goes, I'm not sure. But the fact is, Donovan now will not be back for the Chicago Bulls, and they'll now be looking to start new Chicago, which is probably something they needed to do. I mean, if you're going to come in with a new management, new upper management, I mean, you got to let them decide who they want as a coach, right? I think that's the best way. I think that's how an organization starts. You hire me and you say, hey, look, but he's your coach. Well, maybe I don't think he should be the coach. So I think it was a good move, however that went. If you're going to start new from the very, very top, you got to let those guys that you hire, let them select who they want as a coach. I mean, that's the way I've always felt. So Donovan out, but I guarantee you're going to see that guy coaching again at some point, either in the NBA or he'll be coming to college. I'm not sure, but definitely he wants to coach, and I'm sure somebody's going to pick him up to coach again. So we'll definitely see him coaching again in the very near future. Let's jump over real quick to the NFL. My Dallas Cowboys finally signed kicker Brandon Aubrey. Is now the highest paid kicker in the NFL, about $7 million per year, something like that. Listen, he deserves it, man. I mean, that guy, can kick. I think he could probably kick a 70-yarder, indoors. I mean, I don't know, but I know, some of the kickers under him were about $6 million. So I'm glad that Jerry and Stephen Jones and the Cowboys gave him his money, man. I think this guy deserves that money. He's pretty much reliable. I mean, great kickers, even the great kickers miss every now and then, but this guy's going to make more than he misses. So great job. I think he earned it, number one. And I wasn't sure if Jerry was going to give him that money, right? Like, if this guy leaves us, man, that is bad. We need to keep our field goal kickers. Listen, field goal kickers are so important in this game, right? I mean, some of these guys now, they kick like 66 yards, man. So if you have like 30 seconds left, 40 seconds in the game, this quarterback can get you down the field in about 3 plays and get you to the 45 or so. I mean, these guys can now kick almost 70 yards. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's easier for quarterbacks to get you down the field offensively because you've got a guy that can kick possibly 66-yard field goal. That really helps you out. You don't have to go another 25, 30 or so yards to try to get him in field goal range. This is where we're at today in the NFL. And so this is one of the best in the NFL right now. So I'm glad that Dallas decided to pay him and make him the highest paid kicker. So congratulations to Aubrey. Hopefully he'll do well, and he'll do really good for the Cowboys. We're going to definitely need him this upcoming year. The Houston Astros get the win over the Cleveland Guardians in Game 1 of their series, 9-2. So it's really nice that Houston got a win. Listen, the Astros are off to a slow start. So I'm going to say this about my Astros, right? I'm not going to panic because it's a long season, and we're still in the first quarter of this season, right? But I don't like the way that they're playing. I think offensively we can play with anybody. Christian Walker is off to a great start. Paredes is hitting really, really well. I mean, there's Correa, there's Altuve. I think Jordan Alvarez. So offensively, if we stay healthy, man, look, we're going to score, right, more times than not. But our pitching, man, our pitching has to get better. That's where we can't hold anybody. I mean, if we score 7 and they score 9, we still lose. So offensively, we're good, man. Our pitching got to get better. We got to get healthy. And we got to get better, man. These pitchers our bullpen needs to get better, you know. And look, it's early on. I think Josh Hader will be back, and then he'll change things around. Brandon Aubrey, he's got to get better. I don't know what's going on with that guy. But our pitching definitely has to get better for us to have a chance to do anything this year, right? So we got to get healthy, number one. And if we can do that, I think we got a good chance. We got to win a series too. We can't just win a game like that. We got to win a series. Right, so we got 2 more games. They got a pitcher coming up today that's been really good so far. So offensively, we're going to have to score some runs, I think, to win this game if we have any chance of winning this game. But we got to start winning series, right? We don't have to win every game. If we do, that's great. But we can't be losing series, right? We definitely can't be getting swept. So we're off to a great start versus Cleveland. Let's hope we can get a win tonight. I think tonight we're going to have to really score a lot of runs to get the win, in my opinion. But hopefully, I'm hoping that we at least win the series. If we win tonight, the worst case scenario, we'll go 2-1 and we'll win the series. But I want to start winning some series. And like I said, I'm not going to panic because it's still early in the season. The Astros usually start off slow and then pick it up. We do have the offense, I think, to compete with anybody. But the pitching is a concern to me because so far this season, we have been really bad. Not to mention with the injuries. So look, if we don't get better pitching wise, if our bullpen can't hold leads when we get there, then this season we're going to be back this year where we were last year, and that's out of the playoffs. But again, that's early on, so let's just kind of hold the panic button here. But I'll definitely be talking more about the Astros here on the 100, where we talk professional baseball. And then the WNBA, I wanted to finish off with this. The season starts with the WNBA Saturday. I think it's preseason. I didn't read it all, but got Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark taking on the New York Liberty. So there's a couple of games that I'll be keeping an eye on. Hopefully I'll be able to catch 1 or 2. But I love the WNBA. I've really gotten into women's basketball a lot this last 2 years. I watched a lot of the college basketball playoffs in the season this year. There was some great college players that are coming from that got drafted that are going to be in the WNBA. I thought the WNBA was really good last year. Now you add some of these great players that are coming in. It's only going to continue to get better. So I really pay a lot of attention to the women's college basketball and the WNBA. So here on the 100, we're definitely going to be talking a lot about the WNBA and some of their players. So not going to go too much into that, but definitely as the season starts and I watch some of these games, I'll definitely be talking about some of these players' performance. So again, that'll end it here. Mainly, it's the NBA, it's the playoffs, the road to the finals. Let's see who's going to represent the West, who's going to represent the East. I'm going to be coming on every day to talk a little bit here on the 100 about basketball. The NFL draft is coming up here on Thursday. So we'll definitely be talking more about that tomorrow and going into Thursday. That's going to be very exciting to see. Fernando Mendoza supposedly should be going to the Raiders. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But where will everybody else go? Where are my Dallas Cowboys going to go? We need a defensive guy. We'll see where they go. We'll talk more about that tomorrow here on the 100. Hope you enjoy this podcast. It'll be uploaded, and you can catch it on all GT Sports. Keep it 100 social media platforms. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day and enjoy the NBA playoffs if you like basketball and be watching it tonight. Go Spurs, go.